welcome to another Saturday style session. This week I'm talking about chic ways to store things, and I've broken this one up into 2 weeks. The first week we'll talk about small items, and then the second week we'll talk about larger items and how to style and store them in a chic way. 1, where you can label everything. 2, if they're stackable, that's great, and try and look for flat bottom boxes, baskets, because then they can be stacked in drawers or cupboards or on shelves, or think outside the box. Look at something, look at the vessel, and don't think or look at the obvious function of it. The kind of things I use a lot are baskets. That goes without saying. As I said, particularly like them flat bottomed, because you can stack them in a cupboard or a shelf. Also, circular ones are good for things like sprays. I also use them to store my hairdryer and GHD straightener in my walk-in wardrobe because they're handy and accessible. Ideally, as I said before, if they come with a lid, that's great because you can put one on top of the other. Also, as I said before, think outside the box. This is a shopping basket. I love it because it's old-fashioned and nostalgic, but isn't going to hold the daily groceries. But it will hold all these different tote bags that I have. So that's what I mean by thinking outside the box. Another thing I like to do is I like to buy candles, obviously for the scent, but sometimes it's the container that catches my eye. Like this one is interesting because it's textured, and so this one is it's got that tortoiseshell pattern that's classic. This was a candle, and now I use it as a tea light holder. And the other thing and you can use, there's multiple uses for candles. It's great if they come with the lid. I tend to put things that are ugly or boring, and I don't want to be looking at, but I'd like them contained and corralled. So it's like rubber bands or matches or the odd paper clip somebody's left around, and they're really good for that kind of thing. Sometimes also, if they're a nice candle holder, like Le Bougie, and when I clean those out, I use them for pens or makeup brushes, and so that when I look at them on my desk, or when I look at them on a shelf, or when I look at them when I open my bedside locker, they look nice and it's uniform. So all of this order brings, to me anyway, brings clarity and allows me to think and not get flustered by clutter. Next thing I like to use are nice boxes. Obviously this is an Hermes one. I got this when I bought a purse. This was a gift. There was chocolates in it. But you can see, again, they're lidded. Excellent if you want to put them on a shelf. They look nice, particularly designer ones. But they can also look good in drawers for hiding those boring stuff, but at the same time make them accessible. And obviously label them if you want to, because then you know what's in there. The last thing I'm going to talk about are, if you're lucky enough to buy yourself something in a nice designer, I tend to keep these bags. Sometimes I'll take the ribbon off and I'll use those to put on a key or to replace the little plastic hook that comes with Christmas decorations, or multiple uses I have for them. I won't go into it now. Maybe that's another video. But anyway, if you have a bag like that, again, I would use these for, say, in a cupboard that you mightn't see every day. It might have doors on, it might be part of a walk-in wardrobe, and then I might store, I don't know, maybe holiday bags in it or holiday toiletry bags in it. And again, you could label them. It doesn't necessarily have to be bags. It could be anything that you just don't want to look at. Envelopes like this one would be nice, and they're nice to look at because if you store them that way in, you're not seeing the label, but you are seeing the colour. And so you could put envelopes in this and put them in your office on the shelf. You could put paper, scrap paper, anything like that. Okay, so this is a little marble dish. It could have multiple uses, but I actually use it for the eggs because it makes a very humble egg a lot more chic. Again, that's just thinking outside the box. So this is a prime example of different shapes and sizes of baskets that I use in this bathroom cupboard. So here you have a limited one. This is, I think, from IKEA. You could have soaps, or you could put a toilet roll in it. Here's another basket, different size. Again, that could be used for face cloths. These ones are lined, so I like these. And you've got towels, and then you've got toilet rolls. So everything is neatly stored, and it's nice to look at, and you can hide the ugly stuff, you know, cloths or cleaning things. And it's just a very good use of baskets. But this actually was an Aldi candle, and it's great because it's glass and it came with a lid, so it's perfect for things like cotton buds and cotton wool, and they make a nice pair in this cupboard. This one was L'Occitane, and again, you know, you could use that for bandages or plasters or something small like that. But again, I like it, so it just gives it a bit of colour. So it's thinking outside the box, looking at the container, thinking of ways then that you can use it. So this is a really good example of sort of thinking outside the box. This is a vase, obviously a very big one, and I use it to store umbrellas. And again, the umbrellas are colourful and interesting to look at. They're not plain or boring or ugly, so it makes a nice effect in this cloakroom. This is another, again, it's a little antique dish serving dish that I inherited. They're nice piled into the dish, they smell nice, so you're getting all that effect simply using or repurposing or thinking outside the box for something that might have been used for serving of food, but now I just use it for display.